What are the most prominent memories you have of past Christmases? These might vary for each of us depending upon the kinds of families we come from, what the traditions and customs of those families were, and even where we lived at the time. They would depend upon when we principally celebrated Christmas, Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. And they would depend upon what we did as individuals and as families in the days and weeks leading up to Christmas. Since, like most of us, I come from up north, snow, or the desire for snow, usually entered the picture. And it was generally cold, certainly colder than it is most of the time here during December. We had no boat parades or palm trees, but the bare branches of trees with their leaves long gone presented intriguing scenes on cold, clear nights. The crisp air, which produced clouds of mist as we exhaled, somehow seemed to be appropriate, whether or not we really liked such low temperatures. Sleigh riding was more likely to happen than skateboarding. But everything else was pretty much the same. Outdoor decorations included bright lights and artificial Santas. Holiday music permeated the airwaves in shopping centers. Salvation Army kettles and bell ringers adorned the streets in front of stores. People rushed to and fro, especially as it got closer and closer to Christmas, to buy their gifts in time for packaging and mailing. Christmas shopping, a time-honored and inescapable aspect of today's celebration, sometimes to the detriment and diminishment of the real importance and meaning of Christmas. In keeping with such an observation, years ago there was the following parody in the Messenger, the newsletter of the Norton Church of Christ. And sorry, I really don't remember where the Norton Church of Christ was located. And there were in the same country both husbands and wives, fathers and mothers, keeping watch over their houses by night and going to work each morning, some of them working 2 jobs. And lo, the television commercials came upon them, and the glory of material possessions shone out at them, and they were caused to crave many things that they did not have. And the TV announcer said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy. For unto you there is this day in the department store near to you a friend who is the credit manager. And this will be the sign to you, credit department. There you will find him and charge everything with no payments due until February of next year. And suddenly there was with the announcer a multitude of actors and actresses praising the idea and singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And it came to pass that the fathers and mothers said to one another, Let us go even now into this store. And they made haste and came to the place where they found glittering and wondrous gifts to be had just for their signature. And when they returned from their shopping, they made known to their neighbors that they were going to have the best Christmas ever. But the credit manager kept all the contracts in his safe and pondered in his heart the interest that he was going to collect. Is that what Christmas has primarily become for us? Not much like the first Christmas, is it? At that event, there were no sparkling packages, no frosty snowmen, not a single red-nosed reindeer. But peace on earth, goodwill toward men had never been so real. Because, you see, there was a very special newborn baby sound asleep in a dirty crib in a dirty barn, the miracle of miracles. I don't want to suggest that our modern-day celebration is all mercenary, all selfish, all bad. I don't want to suggest that the Yuletide commercialism we all experience has completely replaced the meaning and message of that first Christmas. There are lots of good things about the way we act in this holiday season, even aside from the strictly religious. Perhaps we give stuffed animals to needy children and take home-baked goodies to shut-ins. Perhaps we feel the magical goosebumps of Jingle Bells revisited as we respond with joy and laughter. Perhaps we find and feel the happiness we see in the eyes of a toddler on Christmas morning. And we remember that that first Christmas was the beginning of it all. To be sure, we ought to emphasize love and joy each and every day, but sometimes we need a nudge. We need inspiration and motivation. We need a season to be jolly and a reason to carry happy greetings to strangers. We even need to be reminded, perhaps through home videos, that when we tuck our children into bed at night, we can never be quite sure how old they will seem when they wake up the next morning. Christmas is our yearly reminder, nudge, motivation, and much more. Christmas is the celebration of the day that love took on flesh and was born into our world. Christmas is the occasion on which, through so many priceless memories and so many little miracles, we recall that the same love which was born in a manger is also born inside each person who gives room in his or her heart for the God who came to us through Jesus Christ. Perhaps there are at least some of the reasons why the holiday season always seems to inspire us. In the words of freelance writer Denise Turner, Scrooges turn into philanthropists, and busy parents find time to hug their children. Scattered generations gather together and become families again. Mommies slow down long enough to kiss their Santa Clauses. So many strange things happen. How else can we explain industrious elves reporting to polar workshops to make toys, and precocious reindeer signing up for flight school, and people getting excited again? Excited again. Different specific things excite us at Christmas time, but mostly we just get excited. We, despite potential physical exhaustion, rediscover what it is to be vibrant, alive, quickened. All the things that Christians are supposed to be anyway. And this happens because at Christmas, the coming of the Christ produces vibrancy and aliveness. Surprises are everywhere as all things become new. Our lives acquire fresh purpose and enhanced meaning. The world looks different and better. So we plan our celebrations. But in that planning, we need to know that Christmas is more than caroling and partying, more than a series of flippant greetings destined to get lost in the chorus of Auld Lang Syne. How desperately we need the promise of peace on earth. Not the kind of peace that comes from a well-ordered life, the kind of peace that can be shattered by the ring of a phone or a knock on the door, but the kind of peace that is an inside job, and so we cannot lose it. Christmas is the essence of that kind of peace. Yes, we plan our celebrations. We rip through paper and ribbon, and sometimes we even find gifts that we really wanted. We laugh, we feast, we play. At the end of the day, we relive the day more quietly than before. We sit under our twinkling trees and contentedly smile at all that the day has held. And possibly it is then that we are most likely to remember some of the most important things, like the fact that this is Jesus Christ's birthday, not ours. The baby in the manger grew up, and he answered some of the most crucial questions humanity constantly asks. How much am I worth? How much am I loved? So it is that on Christmas we remind ourselves, or should remind ourselves, that our earthly celebrations, no matter how good, are merely shadows of the real thing. That our love for each other, no matter how beautiful, is only a shadow of the kind of love which we receive from the one who totally loves us with heaven's heart. That we can better understand how much God loves us each time we take communion, because we then hold the answer in our hands, in the bread and in the cup. Perhaps you have heard of the small child who was asked why he took the ceramic Jesus from the church's manger scene and put it in his wagon. He replied that he had asked Jesus for a red wagon for Christmas, promising that if his wish was granted, he would give Jesus the first ride. Usually in our Advent busyness and distractions, we forget to give Jesus the first ride in our wagons of life. Because of Christmas, we may again remember.